What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Moose Milk Podcast. This is episode 115. 115.
115.
I'm your host, Ryan. As always, with me, my co-host, Matthew.
Hello, sir.
Very sexy, looking as dashing as ever.
Ooh, it's the blue shirt.
I like blue on you. It looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Compliments my eyes.
Yeah, well, you know what else compliments your eyes? My lips on your face.
What?
How do you think about that? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Don't know.
How are you?
I'm good. I got a new phone.
Ooh, fancy.
S23 Ultra.
Nice. Is that like the hottest model? I don't know anything about Samsung.
Yeah, that's the newest model. My contract was up, so I had to get a new phone. They do these
Nice.
I don't know if you can buy your phone outright and shit too, obviously, but like you can do like a trade-in deal or whatever.
Yep.
So after 2 years, you just trade in your phone for a new one. And so that's what I was on. So I had to get rid of my phone, or they're going to charge me $700 for it. So
that's what happened to me with my current phone.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, time for an upgrade. So I got that bad boy, and yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Nice.
it's a Galaxy phone. It's same as they always are. I mean, they haven't changed really over the last like decade. Like, I mean, it's just better camera, better like RAM,
that's
and
Apple phones too, though.
Yeah.
That's Apple phone. I mean, the thing is like,
what else can you do?
Those early phones, the improvement from one model to the next is like insane. But now it's like, what do you do? These things are like,
my first phone was fucking black and white, dude.
Dude, my first phone was an LG chocolate, one of those slider ones, you know?
I remember those, yeah.
I used to like pocket dial people all the time because the touch screen on the front got all fucked up and like just
and they didn't have any like protection against that. Like if it was in your pocket, it would just like do whatever it wanted to do.
Yeah, man. Did its thing.
Phones.
Anyway. Phones. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's something. I don't know.
It's something.
How are you? What's up?
I'm good, man. I got so much stuff done this weekend. I got this guy finished. I fucking love him.
He's very nice.
Punisher 2099.
I like it.
I dig him.
Talk about your big thing today.
Oh yeah, and that's what I was just going to show this too. Is I also got these all finished up. My army of Paul heads.
Very nice.
Yeah. So those got all finished this morning. And yeah, so yesterday I got to finally show off that Paul figure that I made. Let's see if we can do.
You've been working on it you're finished it, but I mean, yeah, I knew about this like 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, man, it's been. I mean, I did it. So the first meeting I had was on Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. So almost 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was crazy. Here, I'm gonna just do this.
Yeah. You got control. You do you.
I got control. I can do it.
Yeah. So for people that don't know the full story here,
there we go. So yeah, so this is the figure that I got to finally show off. So I made this for Paul. I got contacted by the director of the film, Kat Jane, and she asked me if I could like make a figure, but like the timeline was like super tight. So I pretty much had to do this I literally started on Boxing Day and I got finished it in January like 19th or something.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks.
It was super fucking tight, and I ended up I got Craniac Studios to do the head sculpt for me. So it's like, it took them time to like put it together and then print it and then send it to me too. Right. So
yeah.
It was like everything was working, but I'm
really
happy with it.
Oh, it looks great, man. And he posted an unboxing video on his or what I guess it wasn't on his YouTube. It was on
so the video that it was the director asked me to like about was to make a figure for him to do his unboxing. So he does these unboxing like Sunday unboxing videos. So like she kind of like did the mini documentary talking about like his time in Canada as like a Canadian or whatever.
Yep.
And so it was basically just like celebrating like
him and his culture and his Canadian appreciation of.
So for it, they like made this box of like of stuff to like unbox. So there was like stuff from like with baby pictures on it and like some Kim Convenience stuff, and then the figure was the last thing he unboxed, and it was so that art there on the screen is actually I don't know who actually did it. I didn't catch his name, but
it's very well done. It's very nice.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, I really liked it. It was a really fun.
That's awesome. Congrats to him and congrats to you, man. That's a big deal, and that's really cool.
Yeah, see all the shit he comes with.
Yeah, awesome.
Action figures, and I actually made him an extra like accessory pack on the side that I sent him like a bit later. But so yeah, Paul's had this since like since February.
Yeah,
and then we just haven't been saying anything about it. So, and that's where like all the Carson Teva heads came from. So like once I got one made for this project, I'm like, all right, I'm going to use them for Star Wars too.
Yeah, sure. So no, that's awesome.
Yeah, it turned out really great. I'm super happy with it.
Beautiful. I love all of it, and so check out that video on I guess Paul's YouTube as well.
Check. Actually, if you just go to customsimatchu.com, it's the very first post when you go on there, and I actually embedded the video right on it, so you don't even have to leave the page. You can just watch it there.
All right, check that out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it.
Yeah. So what else did you get up to this week besides all that fun stuff?
Honestly, dude, I pretty much just exclusively watched South Park all week. I did watch Victim/Suspect. I think it's on Netflix. It's like this documentary about like women who like post for like rape charges or whatever, and then like basically like cops like kind of talk them out of like doing it, and then they arrest them for like a false charge or whatever. It's pretty crazy how much it seems to happen, like but it kind of focuses on a few stories, and like it's pretty messed up. Basically like someone raped this girl and the cops basically like talked her out of. Right. And then like post the documentary, people are like going back to the case and being like, this isn't right, you should be getting this and this, and like it's pretty crazy. So
the world, I don't get it,
man.
I haven't watched that, but that sounds interesting. I mean, it sounds terrible, but it's up my alley because I love true crime and crime.
Yeah.
Shit,
yeah. It's like it's not like true crime in like the sense that it's like murders and shit, but like
it
is pretty fucked up to see like what money can do for you, especially with cops and shit. It's like
money and power, man.
Yeah, man. And then other than that, I watched seasons 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, most of 9 of South Park, and then I watched a couple episodes from 10 as well.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's like literally 50 episodes. So
it's a lot for me. But I downloaded, I paid for Paramount. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to pay for Paramount Plus. Sure. I did that, and then I'll just get through whatever I'm going to watch in a month and cancel. So
yeah. I also watched a shit ton of Pokemon. Shit ton of South Park. I watched I don't know, probably 30 episodes.
Nice.
Season 23 and season 25, which I hadn't seen before, so I watched both of those. There's still a season that I haven't seen. I think season 26. There's like 6 episodes I haven't seen, but yeah, it's fine. It's not as good as the old stuff, in my opinion. But there's some standout episodes that were pretty funny. But and then I watched probably 15 to 20 episodes of just like random in between seasons. Just picked up some favorites. But yeah, on top of that, I also watched a shit ton of other stuff. Let me see here. A show called Blackbird, which is another Apple Plus show. I mean, Apple Plus is just fucking killing it. Apple Plus is so fucking good. Came out last year. It's based on a true crime story about basically this Taron Egerton plays like a drug dealer that gets arrested, and he pleads out, but he's told by his lawyers he's going to get 5 years in prison, and instead he gets 10. And so the cops come basically to him and ask him if he wants to cut a deal that if he goes to like a supermax prison and gets a confession from a serial killer, he'll get out as soon as he gets the confession, basically. And so it's him like kind of infiltrating this supermax prison and trying to get a confession out of this like really fucked up serial killer. And it's only 6 episodes, I think it was 6. It's 1 season, like it's done, but
interesting.
It's really good. It's really good, really well acted, and really interesting. It's like you can binge. I binged it in 6 hours. So
nice. We don't have Apple.
No, I
Apple TV.
I don't have it either. I watched it and found other ways to watch it, but and also a new show on Apple TV called Platonic with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne.
Oh, I heard about this. I think
It's pretty funny. It's like a kind of like similar to like what you would expect out of a Seth Rogen comedy. Like it's very like what's that fucking Knocked Up style, like friendship with a woman that turns into a kind of like not romance, because this show's like it's called Platonic. It is Platonic, but like dealing with that like friendship of like an adult man and woman and how that changes as you age, and like can you be friends with a woman and not hook up with her and like that kind of thing. Where they kind of dive into that. And it's pretty funny. I mean, I like Rose Byrne's a lot, and Seth Rogen's always funny. So so it's pretty good. And then there's 3 episodes of that. Nice. I just watched the Succession finale. The series finale is excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm so sad that show's over. It's definitely one of my top 5 shows all time. Like it's excellent.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, Succession is fucking phenomenal. It's one of the best acted shows I've ever seen. So I'm sad it's over. Yeah, the cast is definitely going to go on to do other shit.
They're great.
Yeah, it's excellent. But so that's done now. Sadly, Yellow Jackets season finale was Friday, so Yellow Jackets is now done as well.
And
it was not as good as the first season, but I enjoyed the season for what it was. The finale was good, but like they need to kind of move it along. It's starting to like tread water a little bit. Stale. Well, not stale necessarily, but I feel like they're trying to drag it out a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? You could end this in the next season, and I'd be completely content. Like you don't need to drag this out for 7 seasons. And then From still going on. I love From. And then I watched John Wick 4.
Oh yeah.
I just binged the first 3, like I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was. So 4 is out now, and it's good. It's fun. It's brutal. There's a lot of fun action in it. It's way too long. It's almost 3 hours long.
Ooh, that's a lot.
And I was like, all right, this has got to be like the last 40 minutes. And I hit pause, and it's only halfway through the movie. And I was like, oh no, I still have an hour and a half. I'm like, this is brutal. So it's fun, but I was like, man, like
longer than it needs to be.
A John Wick movie does not need to be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
You know, so how many guys can you shoot in the fucking head? Like he must murder literally like 200 guys in this movie. I'm like, all right, this is getting a little silly, but
I watched the first one and I was like, yeah, I don't really feel compelled enough to like continue watching these.
Look, it's mindless action films. If you enjoy a good action flick where you're like, hey,
and they're like usually like pretty well choreographed too, in the sense that it all feels pretty real. Like I do think that, but
he does a great job with like really caring about the choreography and like how to use guns properly and like how you'd move into a room and like all that kind of stuff. Like he does really train for that shit. But like, I mean, this is the 4th movie in, and like, I mean, you know what you're getting. Like,
yeah, totally.
There's not a surprise in this movie really, outside like I guess a little bit at the ending, but like, yeah, it was good, but I wouldn't I don't know. I wouldn't spend another 3 hours watching it again.
All right,
but I enjoyed it. And then that's it. Didn't have much time to play games this week, and been listening to a shit ton of Primus, but I think that's because I've been watching so much South Park.
That makes sense. I've been listening to a lot of Motion City soundtrack.
Weird. I listened to Motion City on the way to work yesterday.
Oh, nice. Which album?
First one.
Nice. That's where I started, and then like I listened to that for a couple of days, and then I was like, all right, let's commit this to memory. Today, finally, I had like a super long drive to Kate's parents' house because there was a car accident. It's like double the time. So we listened to Commit This to Memory, and then we listened to the one after it, but I don't remember its name right now.
My Dinosaur Life?
No. The one with Broken Heart. No.
The
3rd album.
Kills Me.
Even if it kills me.
Even if it kills me. Yeah.
We'll get this.
I don't know. I never like love that album. It's okay.
I've come around to it more in like the more recent years. Like I like it more now that it's kind of aged and like it doesn't have to like follow up to Commit, because that's the thing. Like trying to compete with Commit This to Memory, that's pretty fucking hard, man. It's pretty album. Yeah, it's pretty damn close. So like trying to compete with that, you're like, yeah, it's guaranteed to not do what it needs to do.
No, totally. I mean, I was really down on it when it first came out, but
Me too. I remember
it's okay. It's solid. I like My Dinosaur Life better, but
me too.
I wish they put out a new album. I mean, they're still touring and shit. And it's like, just make a new album, guys. What are you doing?
Yeah, maybe they will. I mean, the thing is like I've kind of fallen off of them in later years, right? Like the later albums, like
yeah,
like
I
I kind of
like
they kind of
more recent shit.
I kind of dropped off at Go, and like
Go was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't really care for Go. So, and then if anything's
Panic
come out
Stations.
since then, Panic Stations. I remember not even really giving that a chance because
It was. I mean, it's there. It's not great.
Yeah.
But,
so, but
but they're so good live too. So.
Yeah, man, they sure are. I love those guys.
Nice.
We should. Did you hear about the? I know we never really talk about like little bits of news here and there, but you see the casting thing for Fantastic Four?
I did not.
They had Adam Driver as Reed, Margot Robbie as Sue, and then I don't remember the other. I don't recognize the other two guys. Let me just look and see. Fantastic.
I mean, I had heard that Adam Driver was more likely than not being in the cast. I think we've talked about it before, and I had seen Margot Robbie rumored because she's apparently done with DC. But
oh, really?
From what I've heard, is she doesn't want to do it again anymore. So,
so she's apparently supposed to play Sue, Paul Mescal as Johnny Storm, and Daveed Diggs as Ben Grimm.
I don't know who they are.
I don't know who they are either.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge Adam Driver fan. I'll watch Margot Robbie paint my walls. Like, I'll watch her literally do anything. She's gorgeous, so she can be in every movie, and I'm fine with that. But I don't know. I mean, the casting's fine. Whatever, she can do anything she wants. I'm fine with it.
The thing is, for me, is like I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan, so I don't really give a shit. And like I don't. I'm the same as you. Like I'm all for Margot Robbie. I feel like that works, but
sure. Whatever.
We'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I've heard that. I mean, talking about news bits, that fucking Echo is dog shit. Like dog shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like that's why they're putting it all out in one day, is because it's so bad they were thinking about not even releasing it.
Crazy. It's crazy that they would make the decision to release something that's bad. Yeah. Especially given the fact that currently everyone's saying how shit everything is.
I don't know. I mean, whether it's just rumor or speculation, whether it's gossip, I don't know. But this is what I've seen online a few times in a few different places, that it's really bad and that Kevin Feige did not want to even put it out. So
what I heard was that it was really bad. So Feige ordered reshoots and a rewrite on a couple things. And then from that point, it was like significantly better is what I had read. But it's so hard to say, like you say, like you never know, right? Like
we'll see.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, they could also be trying different methods about like, you know, bringing people onto the platform, right? So like, you know, if you have all of a sudden Echo drops, you know, and I don't know. I mean, it's not really a pull-in kind of thing. You know, no one's like, oh, sick, Echo, let me sign up for Disney Plus.
I think they're just desperate for content around the holidays, and they think like, hey, we've got to keep our subscribers up. We need new shows. We're going to put it out, and they've already sunk.
Yeah, because it's like the week after Ahsoka, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, who knows? We'll see.
It's the week after. It's the week after Loki, I think, ends.
It's close. It's close after, like a week or two, I think. Yeah, but
you would think that you would want to spread that out a bit more. But
I don't know. I mean, look, I don't think anybody's asking for an Echo show. So, like,
I agree.
If it comes out and it's good, great. If it comes out and it's bad, it's not like I'm like, oh fuck, Echo sucked. Like,
it's not like it's not like I'm like thinking about it in any capacity.
But we're only a few weeks from Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
which is nice, so.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah.
Forward to it.
Let's get into South Park.
Oh man.
So we're picking our 5 each favorite episodes of the series. Now, I mean, this was obviously a huge challenge to narrow down a show that's been going for 25 years to 5 episodes. But I wrote down, I think 12, and Matt wrote down, I think 30.
I did.
And we're just trying not to like have duplicates. So, you know, if we do, then we're just gonna, you know, change our pick, but I actually don't think we're gonna have a lot of duplicates because I think you're gonna stick mostly to season 5 to 10. So
yes, oh yeah, for sure.
I kind of went all over. So
can we first just talk about the tropes of South Park? Like, man,
when did you get into South Park? What was your like you're in on South Park?
Honestly, I remember watching the first episode when it aired on global television. I stayed up super late to watch it. And
because it must have been on at like midnight or something.
It was
right?
Yeah, it was midnight. And then everything, like, I couldn't find it after that.
Yeah, so it's global, I'm sure it was like, yeah, we can't air this. Yeah.
So like it was gone. And then so like I remember most of the episodes from season 1, 2, 3, but like I don't remember watching them like on a weekly basis. I must have at some point came across it and watched it. Right. But like it really didn't catch my attention till like I feel like season 5 is when they really found like their stride. Groove. Yeah. And like you know, to me, like season 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 even like are like some of the like best animated comedy that's like of the time. Like it's so fucking funny.
I would say season 5 to 14 is like its prime time, like those 10 seasons, and then it kind of goes downhill after that in my opinion. But
then it just kind of shifts the way it kind of becomes like a full like social commentary, and like
they double down.
It's not it's not. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's very South Park to double down, because like I was gonna say is like one of my favorite tropes of South Park is like that they just like they double down on fucking everything. Yeah, like it's just like,
hey, we can't say this, we can't do this. We're gonna do it harder and more than we ever wanted. Yeah.
It makes me laugh because it's like it's the craziest things. It's like, you know, like the one where Cartman like thinks he died because the kid stopped talking to him, and like. Great. Like, oh man, there's so many. Like, it was impossible to. I said to Ryan yesterday, I'm like, I'm just giving up. I'm not gonna even try to like put these in order, because like I can't. Like, there's so fucking many. There's so many.
Yeah, well, I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly like what the timeline was on me getting into it. Like, I remember hearing kids talk about South Park, but I didn't have cable growing up. There was no way for me to watch it. The first episode I remember ever seeing, like, really was on my list as one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, nice.
And that's what got me into it. And I was like, after this, like, I have to keep watching this show. When it was airing, like, I don't know when I seen this episode versus what season they were actually on in real time, like, or any of that. But ever since then, like, I mean, I'm talking, I think this was probably, I'm going to guess 1999 when I got into the show, or maybe 2000. But yeah, ever since then, I've been a South Park fan, and obviously I've fallen off of it a bit as I've gotten older. I've missed the last few seasons. But I love like both video games that they put out recently are excellent. Stick of Truth and
Stick of Truth was really fun.
Fractured Butthole is both awesome.
Stick of Truth has so many good like things in there. If you're a longtime South Park fan, like there's so many Easter eggs and so many like little jokes.
I would say like even if you're not a big gamer, but you're a big South Park fan. No, I know, but like for anybody,
that's why this worked for me so well. It's because like I'm a huge South Park fan.
Overly complicated. Yeah, it's not overly complicated where like you have to be a very skilled gamer to play this game. I'm
an idiot at that kind of game, and I breeze through it.
Yeah, it's
laugh my ass off like a good chunk of the way.
I think you can beat it in about 15 hours.
I like when you go to Canada and it's just like a line with like
it's great. It's so great.
So funny.
Yeah, I mean, I've just always loved South Park. The movie is excellent. I wish they would have done a second movie, like an actual theatrical second movie.
Yeah.
I think they could do one now, and I would love if they ended the show with like a movie.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
But yeah, so I mean, we're just gonna run down some of our favorite episodes, and like
you should start with the one that got you into it, because I'm curious to know what that one is.
That is season 3, episode 3, The Succubus.
I probably haven't seen that one in like 15 years, because I usually don't start on 3. If I start anywhere, I usually start on 4. But
I love this episode. This is the episode where Chef is getting married to a woman who turns out that she's a succubus, and the kids are trying to get Chef to come back to be their friend and Chef at school, because they miss him and he leaves his job and then gets replaced by a character named Mr. Derp, who it just cracks me up because he's just the stupidest character ever. It's Mr. Derp. Derp. But like, so the kids meet Chef's parents and they keep continually telling them about the Loch Ness Monster and how they're like that he always wants 350 and
don't go giving him no 350, woman.
And every time he's just telling them the story about the Loch Ness Monster, and it just cracked me up. And like the Girl Guide thing, like that's when I realized the Girl Guide was 100 feet tall and was from the Cretaceous period. And it's like it was no Girl Guide at all. Yeah, and then there's like a whole side story about Cartman needing glasses, and the eye doctor calls him like little piggy all the time, and he hates him, and like it's so inappropriate at so many times. And I mean, this whole show is like, there's so many episodes that I wanted to talk about that I was like, you know what, this episode just does not hold up by like now sensibility. Like it doesn't work. There's no way to talk about this show in the present, but like
I still put a couple of them on my list, but like they're on like down a bit, you know, like
like I think if you can look past things that they say in the show for the time that they were put out in, it was a different time. I mean, mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, you could say a lot of these things and it wasn't frowned upon. And we've all grown as a culture to, you know, kind of say like, no, you shouldn't say that.
But they don't say that either anymore. That's the thing.
No,
right? It's changed with the times.
Totally. But yeah, no. So that's where I'm starting. That's like probably my favorite episode of all time. It's a episode that got me into it. And no matter when, I can laugh at that episode. Like it always just tickles me. The 350 thing, just every time he says, I need about 350. It's just like, it's perfect. It's just so funny.
Oh man, that's great. Well, I'll start with my favorite one. It might not be my absolute favorite one, but it's definitely the one that I always think of when I think of South Park, because as I was saying, I feel like season 5 really found its stride. And this episode in particular, I feel like really sets the groundwork for like what Cartman is capable of doing. This Scott Tenorman Must Die. I knew you love that episode.
I knew you'd have it on your list, so I didn't even bother putting it on mine.
I love it. It's the best one. It's the best one. And it basically, the premise of the episode is Cartman gets sold some pubes from an 8th grader named Scott Tenorman. And so he basically gets duped into doing it. So to get his revenge, he like plots out this crazy chili con carnival. And the plan is he trains a pony to bite Scott Tenorman's dick off in front of his favorite band, Radiohead. That's the premise. And like, it just plays out in the craziest fashion. And like, it kind of cements Cartman as like someone you don't want to fuck with in the South Park lore. Because essentially in the end, he gets Scott Tenorman's parents killed, and then grinds up their body and makes it into chili and feeds it to Scott Tenorman, who cries in front of his favorite red Radiohead, who then is like, oh, look at the little baby.
It's such an absurd episode, but this is the one episode where like if I was to get somebody into the show, I would probably show them this episode. Like it's the perfect launching point if you've never seen South Park to go like, this is the type of humor you're ready for. And this is one of the best episodes of the series for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's always been my favorite. And I feel like, I feel like that's an episode where you start to see like the Eric Cartman he becomes, right? And it's just like, he's absolutely insane and like not someone to be fucked with.
And I love that he like goes to a store and tries to buy things with pubes.
It's so how much is that in pubes, please?
we don't take pubes. Oh, he's going to the movie theater. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's going to the movie theater. One, please.
It's so good. There's so many moments in that. I love that the fact that he's trying to get the horse to bite off Scott Tenorman's dick is just,
God,
it's so good. He's training it with a hot dog.
No, pony, he'll like that.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so fucking messed up, but it's so funny. Man.
It's pretty amazing. So.
I mean,
Tenorman Must Die, season 5.
It's excellent episode, excellent choice. I'm gonna steal this one from you because I have a feeling this is on your list, but I'm gonna go with Good Times with Weapons.
Oh, that's on there.
Season 8, episode 1.
It's a great one.
The kids go to a fair.
Hey, let's go sing you.
Yeah. Protect my balls. The kids go to a fair and basically find a little like pop-up shop that's selling like ninja weapons, and So they all decide like how badass they would be if they all had ninja weapons. So they tell the shopkeeper that all their parents are dead, and so that they don't have to get parent consent for the weapon.
Like, wow, that's like the 13th time that's worked.
Yeah. Just showing how manipulative the kids are. But so then it goes like full anime basically, where the characters like design changes to like a Japanese anime show, and they all like fight each other with weapons and everything, but things deteriorate when they actually throw a ninja star and it lands in Butter's eye in real life, like in the actual show. And so they decide to dress Butters up as a dog to try to bring him to a veterinarian so that they don't get in trouble from the doctors at an actual hospital. And it's the whole episode is basically Butters, them trying to not get in trouble for getting weapons.
But they have to keep fighting Craig's gang. So they keep up to, and they got weapons too. So they all have cool like anime looks.
Yeah, and they of course have a South Park song that's like we're referencing that it's like a half Japanese, half like English song like you would get like the weird overdubs and like
it's like the broken English.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
The style of the episode is awesome. Like the way they changed all the characters into like these anime characters, and the music's hilarious. And like I just remember watching this episode, I want to say with my friend Chris and Dan, and like they had never seen the episode and they were like fucking crying laughing when Butters gets hit in the face with a ninja star. And
it just starts crying, screaming.
It's like, oh shit.
That's fucking amazing.
And just the way they make Butters woof, like to pretend he's a dog.
Remember he finally goes to the hospital and he actually sees a doctor and he's like, I can't operate on animals.
Yeah. He's like, sorry for this dog, but I'm a human doctor.
It's like so obviously.
It's so obviously a kid, but just because they added a little bit of hair to his ears and shit, like
they put socks on his ears to make them long. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's great. So definitely one of my favorite episodes.
So funny.
It's so ridiculous, but it's just fucking
man.
One of the best episodes they've ever done for sure.
It is one of the best, and it was on my list for sure.
Yeah, I knew it would be, so I had to take it because I knew you were going to steal it from me.
Oh, man, that's fucking great. Okay, well, if I'm going to pick the next one, I think I'm going to pick something Walmart This Way Comes.
That's a great episode, too.
Season 8. So it's the episode where South Park gets a Walmart. But basically, like, within, like, a week of it going up, everybody just can't stop shopping there because the deals are so good. And it ends up putting all those little, like, stores, the mom and pop stores out of business in, like, a week. But it's just, like, and, like, again, this is a great episode for Randy because it, like, starts to, like, change his character to being, like... So Randy is Stan's dad, for anybody who doesn't know who we're talking about.
Right.
So Randy's, like, you know, in the later seasons becomes known as, like, the, like, kind of the idiot, right? Like, he's a total dumbass and, like, oblivious to, like, everything around him. And this is a great one where, like, they're trying to get out of the Walmart and he's like, oh, my God. It's like, Stan. He's like, this screwdriver set was $2 more expensive 5 minutes ago. He's like, I can't go on. I can't go on. He like gives them the keys to. Man! But the running joke. Oh, sorry.
They find like the 3-pack of the same movie in like a bundle. Time Cop. It's 3 copies of Time Cop for $20. How can I not buy it?
Oh man, it's so funny. And like the running joke in this episode is that Cartman bets Kyle that the last thing you do before you die is shit.
Right.
So everything that like dies in this episode, like right at the end, it just like explosive diarrhea comes out their asshole. Like there's it's so funny. There's like a person who gets like he like jumps out of the window and like hangs himself, and as he's just standing there, is like his pants just like blow up and like shit just.
Everything they do is so over the top and like
it's like totally. It's like I was saying. It's like it goes to the like absolute extreme. Yeah. Like it's just like it's like why do it out of 6? We're gonna fucking do it
at 15. Yeah,
like it's crazy, man. And like even at the end when the Walmart like implodes, it like sucks into like a hole, and all of a sudden just like shit.
Yeah, it's great. Is that the episode too where the old lady's like, "Is this the parking lot?"
No, that one's on my list too.
I love that episode. I can't remember.
That's a country kitchen.
Country buffet. Yeah,
country buffet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that Walmart episode. I was gonna watch it and I didn't, but it's definitely on my list to watch soon.
It's so good.
It's very funny, and yeah, I always will remember that time cop thing because I was like addicted to going to Walmart during Boxing Day and picking up like all the movies I possibly could for like as cheap as humanly possible, and I'd walk out of there with like 30 DVDs.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, it always reminds me of this episode. It's absurd.
The part where Randy goes in and he's like, I was just here to get a glass and some chips and a flashlight.
Yeah, like they really figured out Randy's character too in the later seasons. Like, Randy just became like a main character. I mean, he is like a main character now with the whole Tegrity Farms thing.
It's pretty important part to the whole story, right? So
yeah, now it is. I mean, I really wish they dropped the whole thing, but yeah,
I don't remember loving it, but yeah,
it's not great. But Randy always makes me laugh. So my next episode is one of my absolute favorites. Me and my friend Brett talk about this episode all the time. And it's Major Boobage from season 12, episode 3.
Oh man, that's a great one. I can't wait to get to that. That's the heavy metal homage, right?
Yeah. So the kids basically go through like drug training at school where they
that's right.
where Principal Mackey comes in to teach them about drugs, and by doing that he teaches the kids that getting cat piss in your face will make you really, really high.
Remember the little rings?
Yeah. So they find out that they can get high off this, so they go home and immediately try it. So they get 2 male cats to basically go near each other. They have like a whole rig to set the cat up so that its tail's up in the air and everything, and they get sprayed in the face, and Kenny goes into heavy metal, basically the heavy metal universe, which is like a 80s animated movie for people that don't know. As he's tripping balls, he's basically like going through this world where everything's boobs. And yeah, so they play like the heavy metal music, which me and Brett always said to each other like all the time. But
that's great, man.
One of my favorite moments of that episode. Well, there's like 2 or 3, but they go into Kyle's room. Sheila goes into Kyle's room and is putting a laundry in his drawer, and they find a cat instead of a bag of pot and tucked into his drawer. And every time it just makes me die laughing. And then Sheila comes down the stairs with the cat in a Ziploc bag and is like, "What is this?" And the cat's just in the Ziploc bag going, meow. That's fucking awesome. It's so great. And then when there's a whole side plot basically where they ban cats because all the kids are getting high off cat piss. And Cartman becomes like basically like it's a Holocaust like type thing where he's like hoarding all the cats to save them, like the Jews during the Holocaust.
That's right.
Up in his attic. Yeah. And he's like, I can't possibly take one more cat. And then she has like 4, and he's like, okay, I'll take them. And so his whole attic is just filled with cats. And then they find Kenny up there rolling around in cat piss, and all the cats are just pissing on him. And it just makes me laugh every fucking time. I love it.
That's very funny.
It's a great episode. It's another one that has awesome music in it because it's all like kind of taken from heavy metal, and yeah, I don't know. It's one of my favorites, so I highly recommend it.
Nice. That's a great pick. I can't wait to get to that one. I haven't got that far yet, so
good.
I will this week, I'm sure. Okay, my next one. I'm gonna go with the one we kind of referenced in the last one. So season 7 is it's called Grey Dawn, and it's basically an episode where the old people in South Park all get their license taken away because they keep murdering people when they're driving because they're trying to find country kitchen buffet.
So good. Just seeing all the accidents that happen is so good.
What do they call it? I can't remember what they call the night where like everybody, they reference the night as like in like a name, and it's like the night where there was like 50 people killed by senior citizens because they were all driving home from the like convention center or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's so fucking funny, and it's all about that. Basically, it's just like, you know, like the AARP come in to like support all the retired, and it's just like again going to the 10th degree with like overdoing like the stereotypes, like old people. Whenever somebody talks to another one, he goes like, huh?
Every time. And then the old woman crashing her car into the river, and she's like, "Is this a parking lot? Is this the parking lot?" I love that. It just always makes me laugh.
And then to like finish it off at the end, the kids like to stop all the old people. They lock the country kitchen buffet from the inside so they can't get in, and they all starve.
The best thing about the show too is that like they always like, well, except for the more recent seasons, they always reset after almost every episode. So it's like things can happen and it has no effect on the actual matter. It doesn't matter. All the old people die, they're all back the next episode for whatever reason. Like Kenny dies every episode for 5 seasons, 6 seasons. And then he's back. It doesn't matter, it's just reset. Like the best thing about it, I mean the Simpsons kind of does it too, but like they take this up to like the 30th degree, where the Simpsons has always been more like family friendly.
Tame.
Yeah.
South Park is definitely not tame.
No.
But yeah, Grey Dawn, I definitely recommend it. It's hilarious, and like they do a lot of like classic horror movie like spoofs. Like they do like Jaws, where like somebody's in the water on a boat, and you kind of like hear the music kind of shift to something more like Jaws like, and like they basically drive off a bridge and like through the boat.
So good. And
they did like Jurassic Park one too, where they're like hiding in like someone's house or something. They're hunting in the kitchen at Country Kitchen Buffet, and like the old people's car like kind of like pokes through the door.
Right, it's like a T-Rex head,
like the raptor.
Oh, raptor head,
or whatever. It's fucking great, man. It's so funny.
It's a good choice. I gotta watch that episode too.
It's a good one. That's fucking crying laughing.
My next one is Medicinal Fried Chicken from season 14, episode 3. Basically, the whole idea of this episode, well, there's 2 plots, but basically the kids are in, I think, baseball. And the only reason Cartman joined the team so that after every Friday they get to go eat KFC. And they get to the KFC, and the KFC has pulled out, and it's now a medicinal marijuana place. And so Cartman goes crazy because he's not getting his KFC. So the subplot there is that Cartman joins with the Colonel Sanders to bring KFC into South Park, and he's like basically like a drug dealer. Like he's basically like making fun of Blow and like all those type of drug dealer movies where he's bringing KFC and doing lines of like KFC dipping sauce and gravy and shit.
Sorry, I need to step away for 1 second. Sorry,
no worries.
Barking at the door and Kate's sleeping. I'll be right back. Don't go too far though, because I want to keep talking.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Look at this cute dog, everybody. But yeah, so basically KFC is pulled out of South Park, and I won't go too far into this, but the fact that this was a time where I think in the States, KFC was actually pulling out of a lot of cities because of how unhealthy it was. There was a big thing. I don't know. I think it was of that era where that's what they were making fun of. But so they're making fun of like Blow and Scarface and all that stuff with Cartman, basically. And then the actual subplot that I want to get into is the medicinal marijuana aspect, but I'm going to wait for Matt to join us back because he loves marijuana. So I'm just going to sit here and look really, really good looking alone till Matt gets back. And it's going to be creepy for some of you. Look at me. I'm looking right at you. You can't tell. But yeah, next week, I want to remind people, as we're waiting for Matt to join us again, there is no episode next week. So we will be back June 10th.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. So no episode next week. We will be back June 10th.
Talking Always Sunny, right? Hopefully.
Always Sunny will be back, I believe. So
I'll be talking about Into the Spider-Verse too, because I'm seeing it on Thursday.
Beautiful. So we'll have 2 different topics for you right there. So yeah, no episode next week. June 10th, we'll back. So medicinal fried chicken. So the whole subplot with Cartman and the KFC and the Colonel and everything like that. But the actual subplot that I love in this episode is that Randy decides to try to get cancer so that he can get medicinal marijuana. And they legalized it in Colorado, but you had to have a doctor's note or whatever to get medicinal marijuana. So he decides to give himself cancer. And so he's out in his backyard with like all these like doctors things that do like x-rays and stuff so that he can try to get cancer that way. He's got like a
Doesn't he
reflector.
put his balls in the microwave or something?
Yeah, so he has like a reflector from the sun and everything like that. He's looking at like frozen foods and everything like that. And he's like reading books on how to get like on different types of cancer. And he's like, oh, this is so too weird. Slow. Like it's going to take 6 months or 10 years to get cancer this way. And then he realizes he has a microwave. So he sticks his balls in the microwave and gets testicular cancer. And his balls become like super swollen where they're giant balls. And so he uses it as a hoppity hop and hops around South Park on his nuts as he's smoking reefer. And then all the men in South Park decide that they want to do the same thing. So all the men are hopping around on their balls down the street, smoking.
Oh God,
pot.
That's so funny, man.
And I don't know. It just makes me laugh every time I see Randy hopping on his balls. And like, there's a whole subplot about how women love huge balls. So every time they hop by, all the women are going, oh, and like it's so funny. It's great. It's a great episode, and yeah, I just love the idea of the Randy. I'm just gonna get a little cancer, Stan. Tell mom not to worry. It's great.
Oh man, that's a great one. I love it. Okay, my next one. Oh man, it's hard to get down to these. Okay, so my next one is from season 6, and it is the Return of the Fellowship of the Rings. So
great episode.
This is an episode where the kids are hooked on. It's all done in like Lord of the Rings, so the kids are all playing Lord of the Rings because they're all hooked on the show or whatever. The movie, and Randy and his wife rent Lord of the Rings for the kids and Backdoor Sluts 9, the hottest porno. The hottest porno ever made, and they so Randy sends the kids over to bring Lord of the Rings to Butter's house because they told the Stotches that they were going to let them borrow it or whatever. And when they go to like watch the porno, they realize that they gave the kids the porno and Lord of the Rings was the one that they kept. So they give it to Butters, and like the whole process is it's like kind of like a fetch quest where like they bring it to Butters, then they bring it to Token or whatever, and like it's funny, like Token watches it at one point and they all decide he has to go in and watch it. He comes out and he's just like, I'm not playing anymore.
So good.
And then like my favorite bit is like at the very end. So yeah, like the grade 9ers all want to like get the tape because they find out that they have it. So then they start chasing the kids and at the end, like all the parents want to do is like explain like what they saw in the porno and put it into context for them because like they're like worried that if they don't have any context, they're gonna not have any way to understand what they just saw. And like in the meanwhile, the kids haven't even watched the porno and they just go through this like deep dive of stuff that they're like, when adults love each other very much, they'll do this. Sometimes they like to do double penetration.
It gets so explicit so quickly.
Okay, boys, on to double penetration. So let's talk about showers. Sometimes friends like to pee on each other.
I love how they can take something that's so innocent and like explaining sex to your kids, and then just they make it to the most absurd level it could possibly ever go. Like no parent would ever say that to their child, and it's just so fucking funny.
Token, when he watches these, like they're trying to explain love to him or whatever, he's like, and what is it when there's 5 midgets spanking a man covered in pudding?
Yes. It's great.
Is that love?
Is that love? It's such of an era though. Like, could you imagine renting porn? Like,
I know, totally right.
Like, kids aren't ever gonna understand the challenges of like 1990s. You know, having to rent movies, having to return movies.
Yeah, totally.
Having to rewind movies. It was a pain in the ass, man.
That's a great episode, though. I love
so
that
funny.
Episode. It's super funny. There's a lot of good bits in it, and there's a lot of the parents are like the best part of it, right?
The best South Park to me is like when the kids are being kids and the parents are just being awful parents. Like that's always the episodes that make me laugh the hardest. Is like the kids just being innocent kids and not understanding what the fuck's going on. But I'll do a shout out after this. But my last pick, my number 5 pick, is the episode Night of the Living Homeless. Season
episode.
11 episode 7. Basically all these homeless people have invaded South Park, and everyone's not really understanding why all of a sudden there's so much more homeless people, and they're trying to come up with reasons like they're here or whatever. And every time Kyle speaks, Cartman takes it as he wants him to jump the homeless people on a skateboard, because there's so many laying in the park and everything. So like Cartman hops one on his skateboard, and then every time anything happens in the plot, Kyle will say something like, "Oh no, guys, we got to treat them like humans. There's, we got to do this, or we got to do that." And Cartman will be like, "Kyle, I can't possibly jump 30 homeless people. There's no possible way." And like, he's like, "I don't want you to jump the homeless people. Like, stop saying that." And like, it just goes on the entire episode. And then like,
that's great.
Basically it's a parody of Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead, basically, where all these homeless people are there asking for change instead of brains. And then as soon as you give them change, you realize that you don't have any more money. So then you start asking for change. Right. And they all get stuck on top of a building together. And the parents are just like freaking out because the whole building's surrounded by homeless people and they don't think they can escape. And the kids are trying to solve the problem. So they go to another town that's been destroyed by basically a war, but it was a war against the homeless. And the first question they go, "Oh, you're Cartman that jumped 30 homeless people?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's great. But yeah, so they basically realize that other cities are just getting rid of their homeless by sending them to other cities.
To South Park.
Yeah, so they all sent them to South Park, and so South Park decides to send them to California. And so they do the California song.
California's good for the homeless.
Exactly. And yeah, I've always been a big zombie guy, and I love when they do like parodies of horror films and like
fair.
Just the whole change thing. Change. It's just great.
That's a great one.
It's a good episode.
All right. I think we should do an extra bonus one too, but my next one is another Randy episode, season 9. It's Bloody Mary. It's the one where Randy gets arrested for drinking and driving and has to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and basically they tell him that he's an alcoholic, and he just like gives up on life. He like shaves his head and he's like, "Stan!" He's like he's in like a wheelchair. He's got a blanket over his lap. "Stan! Get daddy a beer, boy." He's like, "Yes." He's like, "I have a serious illness, alcoholism." So everybody's lining up in South Park to this statue that is squirting blood from its ass. It's a Virgin Mary statue, and it squirts blood from its ass. And the idea is that you ask for like you ask favors of it or whatever when it like squirts blood on you, and so everyone's like waiting in line to like see the statue. And yeah, it's fucking, it's great. It's ridiculous. It's like pure like awesome Randy. Like it's just
the Stan thing always makes me laugh.
He's like, I'm completely powerless. I'm completely powerless to my alcoholism. And Stan's like, "You could just like not have a beer, Dad." He's like, "No." He's like, "I don't have the power against it."
Stan.
It's
so good. Yeah, any episode where it's like Randy and Stan doing like a father-son thing always gets me too.
They're always good. Like another one that I didn't put on it, like it didn't make the list, but like is like the Losing Edge, where like the kids are playing baseball for the summer and they're trying to lose, and like Randy keeps fighting with the dads in the crowd. Just, "Is this not America? I thought this is not
America." Yeah.
It's so funny.
As even when like Randy becomes like the playwright or whatever, and he's gonna fight what's his face in the middle of the street? I can't remember, like Andrew Weber or whatever the fuck his name
Andrew
is.
Lloyd Webber. Which one is that again?
I don't remember what episode that is, but he was gonna become a playwright, and they're like fighting in the middle of the street. I feel like he does like a whole America thing there too, but I mean we can do a bonus.
Let's do a bonus.
It's so hard. I want to pick two different ones, but I'm gonna go with Tally.
That's a great one. It surprisingly isn't even on my. I love Tally, but there's a lot of I love it. It's a good one.
for people that don't know, basically, this is an episode that introduces a character that's basically a walking towel that is like
It's a smart towel GT4.
Yeah, it's a smart towel built in a lab that the military was building basically to like communicate your towel needs. But
imagine, have you ever been way too dry?
Exactly.
Well, you don't want to know, and I don't know.
Exactly. But the whole subplot of the episode basically is the kids want a new video game system and get the Okama Game Sphere.
Game Sphere.
And they all they want to do is play this, and then this like they meet this towel basically, and the military comes and asks if they have seen this towel, and they're like, yeah, and not thinking anything of it, and then they get caught up in this whole conspiracy over two different things that want the military and the like manufacturer of this towel, and they steal their video game system, and all the kids want to do is stay home and play video games. So and the funniest, I mean, like Towley's always funny because he's always like all he wants to do is, you want to go get high?
You guys want to get high? Don't forget to bring a towel.
And he gives them like towel like tips and stuff, like make sure you dry off fully after a shower because you can get infections.
Get cold.
Like, yeah. But it, like Cartman, when they're looking for Towley for the military, and he's like, I'm gonna do a towel call, and he's like, and he's like, that's a towel call, and he's like, yeah. It gets me dying every fucking time.
It's so good. It is a good episode. I just love Towley. Towley's such a great character.
But yeah,
at the end when they're playing the game and he's like, like, oh sweet, the next level's an underwater level, and Towley's like baked off his ass. He's like, don't forget to bring a towel.
And he's like, I have no idea what's going on, guys.
You're the worst character ever, Towley. I know.
It was like so self-referential. Like they have like a fake commercial during the episode for like towel merchandise.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And like it's just it's so great, and it just reminds me of being like 15 and wanting the new like GameCube or whatever, and like all you want to do is stay home from school and play the new system, and like it hits nostalgia buttons for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm trying to figure out what my last pick is because I'm like bouncing between three. But okay, so my bonus pick is gonna be Crazy Cripples.
Oh fuck.
So this is an episode where so there's Timmy and Jimmy, and Timmy's character is in a wheelchair, and all he can say is Timmy. He doesn't say anything else. And Jimmy like has like those like sticks like on his arms, and his like legs don't work, and he's like a stand-up comedian who like stutters all the time.
Yeah, he has like a speech impediment where he like gets stuck on or certain letters and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so this episode they basically get mad that all the kids ditch them for like Christopher Reeves, who like got disabled like not from birth like they were.
Yeah.
And they decide they're gonna start a group called the Crips.
It's so good.
So they go and they join like the Crips, like the gang, the Crips, and they don't intentionally do it, but like it just so happens that they like take out a bunch of bloods because they go to 7-Eleven to get marshmallows and chocolates to bring back to the gang.
They don't realize what they're into,
and they pretty much like blow up a whole like gas station or whatever, and like kill like 30 Crips or 30 Bloods or whatever, and like it starts this huge like gang war, and Jimmy starts like talking like, you know, like he's like a thug or whatever, and like it's just so fucking funny, man, honestly.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so fucking good. There's so many things, and like the whole side plot with like Christopher Reeves using the stem cells or whatever, and he like breaks the aborted fetus head and like sucks it out of its neck.
It's so fucked up.
He's like, and now you can see that I can move my arms. And
it's
just like, oh my god. And then Gene Hackman comes to like, you know, tell him to like stop doing it or whatever, you know, you can't do that, it's bad or whatever. And then it's like plays out like a villain where like Gene Hackman is the good guy and Christopher Reeves is the bad guy, and he's like, you can't stop me, Hackman. It's just
I forgot about that. It's so good.
It's like Christopher Reeves tragically lost the use of his limbs, and today he's here and he's gonna lift a car.
But it's always so topical too. They're always so good about like, oh, stem cells are in the news. Okay, let's take this to like the 30th degree of like
totally.
It's so smart. It's so well written. especially those earlier episodes.
Yeah, man, they're great. And like, there's so many that like like the Jeffersons, like Osimo, like All About the Mormons.
Fuck. Sexual Harassment Panda was on my list.
Oh man, that's a great episode. I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, it's season 3.
Oh, that's right. So
it's
I have to go back and watch it. I should probably just watch season like the early. Maybe when I finish like up to where I'm gonna stop, I'll go back and watch the first few.
But that's on my list because I love Sexual Harassment Panda just because I'm a sad panda, and like, I say that all the time. Anytime anything bad happens to me or like whatever, I'll always say, "Oh, I'm a sad panda," and yeah, I just love that episode. It's
so
great.
many, man.
Yeah,
or Raisins. Welcome to Raisins.
It's so fucked up. Yeah, so I had Cartman Land on my list.
Cartman Land's an awesome episode.
Casa Bonita's
on mine too. Yep.
Awesome.
Totally. Jared has AIDS.
Fat Butt and Pancake Head.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yep.
Oh man,
the show's awesome.
Many.
Yeah,
and I know. Like, there's so many.
I love
Quest for Ratings. Quest for
When
they're
awesome.
Doing the news, sexy action news hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid spoil horror video playset.
Yeah, I mean that episode's rough, but yeah,
it's pretty rough, but it's pretty awesome though.
I love that, like the Chim Pokemon, like the making fun of Pokemon, and it's just.
Which season is Chim Pokemon?
I think 12? It's 3 or 4. Yeah, it's early, man.
Too?
Season 3 is good. It's got like 5 or 6 great episodes. I think season 4 is like terrible, and then season 5 just like knocks it out of the park, and that's when like the show is golden. But there's like an episode I think or 2 episodes maybe in season 2 that I like. It's all right, but I would if you've never gotten into South Park, I would really start with season 5 because that's
I would too. That's the best place to start.
You're not going to miss a whole lot other than like minor character stories. Like it doesn't really matter. They always reset, and like I mean, if you completely oblivious to South Park, like you're not going to miss a whole lot.
Nah, you pick up everything you need to in season 5. That's the thing is most of it you don't really need to have the history.
No, I agree. So
you pick it up pretty quick. Cartman makes fun of Kyle because he's a Jew. Kenny because he's poor.
Yeah, Cartman's an
Depending
asshole.
on what season you watch on, Kenny's gonna die. Cartman's an asshole.
Yeah.
It's good. Randy's crazy.
Yeah.
Cartman's mom's a whore.
Yeah. It's a great show, and as long as you're not easily offended, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna find an episode that tickles your funny bone.
Oh man, there's so many. Man, Bear, Pig.
Yeah.
Mr. Garrison's fancy new vagina.
It's great.
It's a great one.
Even like when Butters becomes Professor Chaos and stuff. Like I love their like take on superheroes and like
Simpsons did it.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's really funny. It's so good.
Definitely watch out for the movie. The movie's awesome as well.
The movie's fantastic, and it's a musical, which is hilarious because you'd never expect it from that. But it's pretty awesome.
And then the games, like I said earlier, is like if you enjoy the show, definitely play those games because they're great. But
they
are. That's South Park. That's our take on South Park.
Awesome says
lame, super lame
movie idea 4,620. Adam Sandler and a dog go to the beach.
Everything is Adam Sandler. I just love how they like go like he's given us 4,600 movies with Adam Sandler as the main character.
It's funny because that's super topical right now with AI doing what it's doing, right? And like looking at people using AI to write stuff instead of writers and stuff like that. And it's like
it's crazy.
It's pretty wild. Yep, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. I thought for sure Rob Schneider as a stapler would be on your list.
I do like that episode, but I feel like the Rob Schneider bits outweigh like the rest of the episode. I still like the rest of the episode, but that's the one where Kenny's soul. They try to get Kenny's soul. That's the one where Chef's parents are in it again.
Right. That's where
they bring him to Chef's parents and they try to get. And he's like, "Oh wait, we're gonna put the soul in the turkey. I'll wrap it in foil and should last 3 or 4 days in the fridge." And
I love Chef's parents. I really wish like all the stuff didn't go down with Chef because I think Chef was such a pivotal character on the show.
Me too.
And like. I mean everything. They kill him off in season 10, and it was a bummer. But
that's a funny episode. That one where they kill him off.
Great. Yeah,
because they just use all like clips of his voice, like it's
Yeah.
not actually him, and it's like you can tell they're like they probably have so much audio that works for it, but instead they clip it to make it sound like it's shitty and like
yeah. Well, like I mean, this is old for everybody else, but like I mean, for people that don't know, is like he left the show because he was mad that they made fun of his religion when they had been making fun of all religions for decades. So like he finally said like, "Oh, you're making fun of my religion, I'm out," basically. And they said, "No,
making
like
fun of Scientology."
Right, everything's on the table. If we're gonna make fun of Scientology, we're gonna make fun of Christianity. We're gonna make fun of everything.
Mormons,
and Mormons. They've done great episodes on all of that stuff. And it's awesome. Like the Mormon episode is great.
The Mormon episode is fantastic.
And the Scientology episode is great. So like
also great.
You cannot be offended. They make fun of everybody equally, and that's the show. If you're easily offended by somebody, then
that's a great one. Thanos Heisenberg says, "Make love, not Warcraft." That's a fucking great. And Fish Sticks is also an awesome episode. Fat Button Pancake Head too. Yep, so good.
It's excellent. Like I love Make Love Not Warcraft. I was gonna add that on my list. It's a great episode.
It's on my list, but it's like, there's so many.
Fish Sticks is great.
Fish Sticks is great.
I think I would appreciate Fish Sticks more if I knew
now.
Yeah, and if I knew anything about what's his face, like I don't.
Kanye.
Who?
About Kanye West?
Yeah, Kanye. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm not a fan of the man. I don't very little about the man. I don't know his music, but like.
I like some of his older stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's just like right now, like he's
just out of his mind. Yeah,
it's like we shouldn't be entertaining it. Like he should be fucking not put away.
He needs help.
Like, someone needs to like
check in on him.
Like,
yeah.
He's not doing himself any favors.
But those are great choices.
Yeah, those are awesome.
5 great episodes.
Casa Bonita is another one. So good. Convince Butters to stay in a fucking bunker for 5
years. I just watched it last night. Like, yeah,
that's a great episode.
Excellent episode.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I guess this the restaurant actually exists. Like I guess it's an actual place. But like all the stuff that he wants to do are so like I guess a kid would be excited by that, but like me looking at it, I'd be like, why the fuck do you want this in your restaurant? Like
Blackbeard's cave.
Oh, spooky. Yeah. In Cartman Land, like same basic premise of like Cartman just being a dick and he loves theme parks. It's like those episodes are like very similar to me, but
it's a good episode. Cartman Land's a great episode.
Yeah, great choices.
Agreed.
Yeah. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this week. What are you doing on Web Wednesday? Are you doing Web Wednesday this week?
I am going to do Web Wednesday this week. I think I'm just going to be... What am I going to be doing? I guess I'm going to be working on my custom me and my Red Skull figure probably because all my painting is done. So,
okay, so that's Wednesday, and then
Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time over on my YouTube channel. Let's see if we can put that up here.
I got it.
All right. Thanos Heisenberg says, "I always come when you guys are leaving." That's so weird because it's so fucking late.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We go live at 1 a.m. every week Eastern
or 10 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes,
if you're on the cool side of the country.
Yeah. Sadly, we try to keep the show about an hour. We don't want to go too long. So
true. I figured we'd go over today just because it's South Park and it's impossible to stop talking about it because it's so funny.
But if you want to watch the entire episode, you can always go over to our YouTube channel at Moose Milk Media. Subscribe, and you can get every episode in the backlog, or you can go to your podcast service and get them as well. They're just search Moose Milk Media.
Or both.
Be a big fan.
We like both.
And like both and subscribe to both because we need numbers.
It's true.
See you. Thanks for coming by. Yeah. So that's going to do it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll talk Always Sunny. Matt will talk Spider-Verse.
Hells yeah, I will.
We got Secret Invasion coming up. We'll be talking that.
Yeah.
And Fan Expo in August.
Can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
It'll be a good few months of content, and we hope you guys join us. And see you in 2 weeks. Farewell, friends.
See you, buddy.